Mr. Benegal, 48 years later, you are back here to see Manthan, and Manthan is released everywhere. Tell us about the feeling you have on today.
Well, it's incredible, really, because, you know, I mean, the film's been resurrected in a way, thanks to you. Because, you know, if it wasn't for you, I don't believe we would have been able to get the print the way it is today. You know, and Shivendra Singh has been really instrumental and the central figure in all this, because otherwise we had Manthan and bits and pieces. He's put it all together.
It was in 2014, we had just set up the Film Edit Foundation. And at that point, Shyam Benegal was the very first person to donate all his material to us.
I used to have old prints of my films. You know, but when he started Film Edit Foundation, I gave away everything. Because he would look after them. Otherwise, they were just rotting here, you know.
And I still remember Atul Tiwari and I were packing things in these cartons. And then Shyam Benegal walks in and he says, here's a 35mm print of Manthan.
Manthan is a very important film for me for several reasons. People used to talk about crowdfunding. This is the first example of crowdfunded film. Is the fact that, you see, it was a film that was produced by over 500,000 farmers in the milk shell areas of Gujarat. But fortunately for me, the reason why it could happen was because Dr. Kurien.
As a child, I remember asking my father, aren't you a milkman? Why are you making a movie? And he said that it is very important for my farmers to see how they are going to affect India and what they are going to do for the country.
We went to 5 lakh farmers. We said, "Dekh, आजकल का ticket movie hall में 3 रुपए का मिल रहा है. आप 2 रुपए दिए, and in 1 year's time you can go and see your film. 10 लाख उसने 1 day में collect किया. 1 day में जो पैसा देना था उनको हर दिन देते थे, उन्होंने 2 रुपए काट लिए और एक रसीद दे दी. He said, "This is your ticket. संभाल के रखना, क्योंकि you will get free entry to any hall which is running a film. So you are the producers of your own film."
And here was a can in my hand. And there was all, you know, stacked up of cans lying on the side, which he pulled up one and gave it to me. And I looked at it. Almost your whole childhood nostalgia came back. I mean, we've heard the song so many times. We remember the image of Anita Patil, Naseeruddin Shah, Girish Karnad, Amrish Puri. But at that point, I didn't know what to do with it, because we had just set up the foundation. Where would we get the funds from? And 500,000 farmers as producers, how are we going to start?
Sir, I want to turn to you. You were in Cannes for the screening. Tell us, how do you feel Manthan after 48 years and your experience on this film? It was your second film with Mr. Benegal.
My second film in all. And perhaps I didn't believe, but I prayed like hell, I have to say, that this film would be seen and that my work would get across to the audiences.
It means to me a lifeline. It turned out to be a savior for me. Manthan really kick-started my career. I began to get work after Manthan. I got a great deal of appreciation, which I'm still very grateful for. And 48 years later, it's reborn.
One of the beginning films for many of us. For Nasir, me, Smita, Kulbhushan.
I have one nice incident to tell you about the song. When we went for recording, we went to Vanraj uncle's house, Vanraj Bhatia's house, may rest in peace. We went and Shyam uncle saw the lyrics of that song. And he said, "Oh my gosh, this is not what I want." Shyam uncle said, "Okay, what do we do now? What do we do now?" So my sister quietly was writing the song, because the tune already, Vanraj uncle was making something here, there on the piano. And then she wrote the song, Neeti, her name is Neeti Chandra. She wrote the song and she showed it to Shyam uncle. "Shyam uncle, do you think you want something like this?" So he said, "This is exactly what I want." And that's where the song was created. And then the music was set on it. And then, of course, I sang it. And it is history now. मेरो गाम काठा पारे जहाँ दूध की नदियाँ बाहे जहाँ कोयटों को गाए मारे घर आंगना न भूलो ना मारे घर आंगना न भूलो ना Shyam
Smee in her personal life, she was deeply affectionate, very caring and deeply empathetic. So whenever there was an injustice, whenever she saw that inequality, even in her personal life, she would stand against it. Even in Manthan, I think she is tired of the patriarchy that she constantly is under. She wants to get rid of it. A lot of these things were very, very unique about how she performed both on screen and in her personal life.
I was very, very moved at the screening in Cannes, partly because of the fact that I'm so attached to that film. My performance is slightly immature, but I still think it's pretty good for that time. And there's so many dear friends, loved ones who one will never see anymore. So it was good to be in contact with them once again.
I think it's been one of the most challenging restorations I can talk about. When we brought the negative from the NFAI to Bombay and we opened it and we took it to the rewinding table, we saw that it has a lot of green molds, fungus, flicker problems. There were sprockets which were broken. You know, these films were acetate base, so they smell of vinegar and the chances of deterioration is very high. So the sound had completely gone.
I can just imagine what it's like going through a film frame by frame, you know, and checking it and working on it, unless you really, really care deeply for movies.
In 1976, when the film was made, Shivendra Singh was probably in short pants. You know, neither he nor we dreamt that he would one day end up restoring this film, he and his team, who I must congratulate most warmly, the Film Heritage India Foundation.
And almost it took us a year and a half of extreme tedious work, almost frame by frame. We had to use at least 3 to 4 elements, you know, from prints, from digibetas, from every possible corner. Also, there was this color fading, and we got really worried. We said, how do we get a reference of the colors of this film? What we did was 3 minutes of the film, we graded it and we took it to Mr. Benegal and Govindranani. They were both sitting, and I remember playing the film to him to show that this is the journey we are going to begin and this is the 3 minutes test we have done. And I can't tell you, the biggest satisfaction of restoration is when a director says, this is what I always wanted it to look like.
I had never seen the quality of a print as good as that. Not even the first print on a film that I had made. You see, because Manthan was a film that I had made, and the first print also was nowhere close to the quality that he brought to show me of Manthan.
And I'm sure that the film now has the luminosity and the visual beauty that Govind and Shyam wanted in the first place.
And this is the biggest release of a restored film anywhere in India. 51 cities, 101 cinemas, from Kochi to Ranchi to Muzaffarpur to Bathinda, to every part of India. In many centers like Delhi and Bombay, tickets are sold out. People are asking for tickets. And I'm so happy that when a 48-year-old film gets a response like this, it just shows that people are hungry for classic cinema. They're hungry for restored films. They're hungry to see back the India which was part of the nostalgia, and it's now for the young generation to come and see that and get exposed to the cinema. The brilliance of Shyam Benegal, the brilliance of the filmmakers of the 70s, 80s, 60s, 50s. You could take the years, and I think it's very important because they will now be able to see the way the films are meant to be seen on the big screen.